being the first in your family to go to college. You've done well in high school and you're very confident about your success. But when you go to orientation, you learn that you will have to take extra classes that you can't afford. And every class, no matter what the subject, feels like a struggle. What's going on? The answer may be different from what you think. So families will do almost anything to get into college. They'll spend thousands of dollars on test prep for studying for the SAT or the ACT. They may even cheat to help their students to get into college. But few people think about what happens once you get into college. You may be accepted, but are you really ready to do the work? And that's the problem that we're facing in American education. So the research shows that about 50% of college students have to take some sort of remedial reading class. So in other words, they aren't ready to do college level reading yet, and they're assigned to take extra classes. And this rate is much higher than it was even in the mid-2015s. It continues to go up. And there are higher rates for remedial classes for students who might be considered more vulnerable or who have disadvantages. And that's especially true for students who were raised in poverty, students who may not have had a lot of economic income growing up. And there are some problems with remedial classes. And the first one is that they don't really work. The remedial classes are not tailored enough to what the students need because students have individual needs, and they're very short. To take a child who may be multiple grade levels behind in reading and try to catch that child up with one class or even two classes, that's going to be really difficult. And the other thing is that these remedial classes often lead to students dropping out. Students get frustrated, and they also have an economic problem because Pell Grants and other financial aid will only cover a few hours of remedial classes. So research shows that even after all these classes, 60% of all college students struggle with comprehension. That means they struggle understanding what they read. That is a huge, huge number. That's a huge statistic. And it makes me think about our education system and how well or how not so well we're doing with reading. The good news is that there's something that students can do to prevent this problem, and that is to read a lot during high school. So research has shown that independent reading, that means reading a book that's right for you, it's not too easy, not too hard, that reading for long periods of time, every day or several days a week, can really, really help increase your reading and get you ready for college. And this means reading for fun. It doesn't mean reading textbooks. It doesn't mean reading notes or a book that's really difficult for your English class. If you read for fun, for about 20 to 30 minutes a night, it makes a huge, huge difference in your chances of being prepared for college and doing well in college. And students who read 30 minutes a night are 26% more likely to have high achievement, and they also gain huge vocabularies. If you read during high school for about 30 minutes a night, you will gain a vocabulary of about 1 million words, which will help you because a lot of the things that people struggle with in college are vocabulary related. There's a lot of advanced language, so that really helps if you read just 30 minutes a night. And an interesting thing that they have found is that for students who were raised in poverty, that means students who don't have a lot of economic resources, we know that those students tend to struggle more in school and also in college. They found that reading regularly for fun can actually overcome some of that effect. So in other words, if you've had a rough start to life because of lack of economic resources, maybe lack of access to books, maybe you weren't able to go to the best school because of where you were living, all that can be helped by reading just 30 minutes a night. So just 30 minutes a day can make a huge, huge difference in reading success. Now, I know some people might be out there and saying, I just don't know where to start with this. I don't know where to find books for my child. My child's not motivated to read. And, we're looking at college now, and I'm a little bit concerned. So I'm about to launch a course on reading fluency. In other words, being able to read accurately and to understand what you're reading. And I'm seeing a lot of problems with fluency, especially what we call stamina, which is reading for long periods of time. That's something that students have trouble with in our digital age. And it's an increasing problem. I have not yet launched this course. But if you want to get in my email, you can find out more information about it. And you can also get a free ebook, which is titled, My Child Struggles to Read. What next? And that's a guide for families who have children who are struggling to read for some reason. It's got all kinds of helpful information in that. So I'm going to put that in the description box. And if you're interested in knowing more, please sign up for the email list. And I'd also love to hear from you. And please like and subscribe. And until next time, keep learning.